Hello and welcome to the Z-Huts, learning how to build Android apps with MIT App Inventor 2, Episode 1, Getting Started. Now, in this video series, we are going to be teaching you how to use MIT App Inventor to make your very own Android apps. Now, using this program is very easy compared to pretty much all the others I've ever seen. I do have a little bit of experience with some more of the advanced programs, but for most of the apps I write, which mostly deal with controlling microcontrollers, this is the easiest way to do them. If you were going to be trying to do something really super advanced, well, you might not want to use MIT App Inventor. But for 90% of what most people would be building an app for, MIT App Inventor is going to work fine. So like I said, in this episode 1 here, we're just going to be showing you getting started. What we're going to do here is in a moment we're going to open up the interface. Excuse me, we're going to open up the interface for MIT App Inventor and go through it and show you all the different controls and settings and stuff. And then in episode 2, we are going to actually build an app. So if you do know a tiny bit about this MIT App Inventor, you could possibly skip to the second video, but I would recommend watching this, and I'm going to try to keep it around 10-15 minutes so it doesn't stretch out too long. Alright, well with that, let's just get right into this. So first you're going to need the MIT App Inventor. Now there is an online version of this, and it is completely free, and there is a way to set this up offline as well. And that's free. The offline version I'm not going to show you. I do personally use it myself quite a bit, because then I don't have to worry about being connected to the internet, or a lot of times I've got a multi-screen setup here, so I'll have a movie playing on one of my other screens while I'm working on building an app. And what this does is it doesn't take up the bandwidth, so my movie's not glitching out. But if you're interested in the offline version, just do a YouTube search for that. And there's plenty of people that got videos on that. And the App Inventor works exactly the same way. The only difference is when you're on the online version, it stores your stuff online, where if you use the offline, it stores it on your computer and compiles it on your computer instead of using their servers and stuff. So it's up to you which way you want to go. It'll work all the same, but to get started with, you just go to their website, and I've got it brought up right here. And I'll have a link to that in the description below, how to bring you right to this website. And then you go here. Well, first you can see there's some things here. There's resources, news, stories, and about. So if you've never used this before, maybe you want to spend a minute here and take a look around. Otherwise, when you're ready to start creating your app, click here. Now, when it first opens up, it shows you this for a moment, but then it'll bring up your last project. Now, the first time you sign into this, it's going to want an email address, Google ID preferably, and just use that. They're not collecting any information. What it's doing is it's just setting up so it knows to save these apps that you're writing for you, so nobody else can just access them. And it does use up some of your storage on Google, but they give you a ton. I can't even remember offhand what it is, but these apps don't take up a lot of your space, so don't worry about that. If you use the offline version, you can use your email to log in, but it's saving everything onto the computer itself. So if you're confused on that or want more information about it, that's another thing. I would just do a YouTube search, because there's a lot of people that have done videos on that. I know there's there's other people that have done videos on how to get started with MIT App Inventor too, but I'm going to try to take a slightly different approach. Some of them start out just showing you stupid things and don't really explain what you could use them for. And I'm going to try to go through with every tutorial, show you, something useful you could do. You could build an app and have some fun with it. All right, well, let's just get into this. I don't think I need to ramble on anymore. Now first, up at the top here, once we're on the MIT App Inventor Designer, you've got your Projects tab, and this is where you can click this and it brings you to your projects. Otherwise, you can also click this tab right here and it does the same thing. It brings you to a list of all your saved projects. And MIT App Inventor does automatically save, so you don't have to continuously save after you do things. It does that automatically. Then otherwise, on the same tab on the projects, you can import an AIA file, which is not an APK, which is an actual finished app. An AIA would be like if you were working on a different computer or under a different email and you want to bring that file into this MIT App Inventor application, that's what you use that for. The AIA from repository, I think that's from getting from an online repository. I've never used that. Then we got, you can delete your project, you can save your project, you can save your project as, so you can rename it. Checkpoint, that's another one I've never used, so I'm not sure what that's for. Export project as an AIA, and I do use that quite a bit because I make backups of all my stuff, and I save them as an AIA so I can go back and change things. If you save it as an APK, the actual finished app, you cannot open it back up and change things. So just make sure to remember that. Make a backup, and then you can export all your projects. I've actually never tried doing it this way. I usually just go into the file manager and copy the stuff, but I'm sure this works the same way. And then there's import keystrokes, export keystrokes, delete keystrokes, and that's kind of a memory thing for if you were going to be doing something repetitively in different apps and do the same thing. I'm not really going to go into it any further than that, but I think that's the best way I can describe what that's used for. Next, we have the Connect tab here. Now, the AI companion, you are going to want that. Means you're building an app for your Android, well, you're most likely going to have an Android. Now, the AI companion, you can download that from Google Play. Just go to Google Play and type in AI companion. You download that, put it on your tablet, and when you go to Connect, you just click on this, and I'll show you. It brings up a QR code that you can scan with your Android's camera, or if for some reason you don't have a camera, you can type in this code right here. Okay, back up to the Connect. Now also there's an emulator. Sorry about that. There's an emulator too, which will run on your computer and act like an Android device. You have to go back onto their main website, and it's a separate file you got to download and install on your computer to use the emulator. I do not believe you have to put that on for the companion. But the emulator, what that does is it allows you to run a version of Android on your computer while you're doing your program or your programming on your app, so you can see what it's going to look like on the screen. I usually just use the AI companion, because once you change something on your screen, just a few seconds later, it updates on the tablet or your phone, whichever Android device you're using. And then you can, if you got a button on there, you can push it and see what happens, and it works live. As you're building your app, it updates to your Android device. You just got to make sure your Android and your computer you're using are connected onto the same Wi-Fi network for this to work. Actually, not the same. It doesn't even have to be the same Wi-Fi. They just both have to be connected to the internet. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Now then, there is also a way to connect to your device using a USB cable. I have gotten this to work once, and that's back when I first got started using MIT App Inventor quite a few years ago. And it took me a couple days to figure it out. You got to go into your Android device and go into developer options, all kinds of just stuff. If you want to play around trying to do that, do a YouTube search and you're going to get frustrated. I'm going to guarantee you right now, you're going to get frustrated. So I would stay away from that, but if you're interested in it, go ahead and check that out. Now next we got the reset connection and hard reset. And what this does is it resets if your device glitches out and they're not communicating back and forth. You got to actually reset it. All right, next we got here is the build, and this is where you can make the the app, the APK file, and you can choose to save it to your computer, which is what I normally do. Otherwise, if you got a camera and a QR code reader, you can click this and it'll take just a moment. What it's going to do here in just a few moments is it's going to pop up a QR code you can scan with your phone or tablet with its camera, and then it will download the app right to your phone. Otherwise, what you do is you just save it to your computer and manually upload it and install it on your Android device. Okay, built it. Did it pop it up off screen? Hold on a second here. Oh, there it goes, right there. And yeah, you just scan that with your QR code reader with the camera on your Android device, and bam, it would download this app. All right, click out of there. Otherwise, there's a help menu here. You might want to check this out. There's tutorials and troubleshooting stuff, but you probably ain't going to use this a lot, but there's some stuff in there to check out. Most of this stuff over here, I already talked about the My Projects. Most of this, the gallery just shows you other people's projects. Check out. There's a guide, report issue, choose your language, and change your account. So that's as far as we're going to go into that. This video is starting to get up there in time, so I'm going to run through the rest of this really quick. And then we'll get on to episode number 2, and we're going to make an app. So next we got our user interface here. And there's a whole list of them here. When it opens up, the user interface is the first one it opens. And this is where you select your components that you want to put in. Say you want a button, you just grab it, drop it in there. And I'll show you in a future episode how you can center this or move it around, align them and stuff. We'll get into that in a different video. I just want to run through the interface real quick in this one. But you know, you got your checkbox, date pickers, image, notifiers, passwords, sliders, text boxes, web viewers, and some more. And if you're interested in what any of them do, you just click on that little tab right there with the question mark, and it gives you a real quick definition of it. And then there's also, you can click for more information. But then there's a layout, and I was just talking about how you can set your button up. You can do horizontal arrangements, vertical arrangements, table arrangements. That will be something we get into in a later video. Then we got our media. That's where we can have the camera record something if you push a button. Text to speech, speech recognition, sounds, and some other stuff. Like I said, just go through and check all these out your own. Just click on that little question mark and it'll tell you what each one does. The drawings and animations and these beginners and intermediates. After I get done with the beginners tutorials, I'm going to do some intermediates, but I'm going to wait till I get to the advanced to go into the drawing and animation stuff, and that's more for like making games. So that'll be something to get into, and it's going to be a few months before I get around to the advanced MIT App Inventor stuff. But sensors, we will be playing with some of these here in some episodes coming up here not too far in the future. The clock, there's lots of applications for using this. It basically uses as a timer to activate things. Then there's some other things like the pedometer, proximity sensor, barcode scanner, accelerometer, other fun things to play with. The social, I don't really do much with that, and I don't think I'm going to cover much of that in my videos. Maybe when I get into the advanced, I'll get into some of that a little bit, but I don't use it very much. Now the storage, we will be using this right here, the TinyDB. Most of these others on here we won't be using much, but the TinyDB does come in very handy, and in a future episode we will be using that. Connectivity, we will be definitely using the activity starter and the Bluetooth client in future videos. Them are the two we're going to use the most. We might use the web. The Bluetooth server, I don't know if I'm going to get into that. So if you're interested in it, just click on the question mark. The Lego Mindstorms. I don't have Legos. I don't have Mindstorms. I'm not going to cover them. I'm sure there's plenty of other people that have done videos that will cover the Lego Mindstorm. I know what it is. It's like using Legos to build robots and stuff like that. So you might want to check that out. It's up to you. I'm not going to cover Lego Mindstorm at all. And then the experimental, I'm not going to cover this Firebase DB. I'm not even sure what that is. Never messed with it, and there's nothing in the extensions. I haven't put any in. Now, other than that, on the other side here, when you first start it up, you will have your properties, and it will be on screen 1. Now, I added a button. The last thing that you add is what it'll be selected on, but you first open it up, you got the screen, and this is something we should cover real quick, because when you are first starting the app up, you should go through and set up your screen how you want it first. So you can set how to align things, the horizontal and the vertical. You can set it to left, center, or right, and it's the same thing on both. Right here, app name, that's where you want to put the name of the app. You can change your background color. You can add a background image, and we will be doing that on a lot of the videos that are going to be coming up on building apps. I like to put images in the background, not just a color. What I usually do is just I use another free software called GIMP, and I'll just knock up a texture to put in the background, and they look pretty cool. You got your closing screen animation. I usually leave that at none or default. If you want, fade, zoom, it's just how the screen closes, the animation. If you're not sure how that works, just try it out. I guess that's the best way I can put that. Your icon, now this is what is going to show up on your phone or tablet where you click to open the app. This is that little icon that's on there. So you are going to want to upload some kind of icon. If you're not good at drawing and stuff and making your own, you can find tons of little icon pictures in the public domain and just use one of them. Or make your own. And like I said, there's some free software called GIMP. It's just like a slightly scaled down version of Photoshop. It's not as powerful, but it's real similar to Photoshop, and it works really good. Then we got setting your opening screen animation, which is similar to the closing. If you want the app to be able to be scrollable, say if everything doesn't just fit on the screen, you want to be able to scroll, make sure to check that. Otherwise, you won't be able to scroll down your other stuff. This right here, the show list as whatever that says. I don't know what that does. Never used it. Never messed with it. So I'll leave that for you to check out. The show status bar, that's just showing this junk down here. I'm pretty sure if I remember right, that's what it is. I usually have that turned off. Sizing, I normally leave to fixed. Title, that's the name of the screen. This is just screen 1. You can change that to whatever you want, and then you can select here if you want the title to be visible on the app or not. I usually do have that off. And then right here you can put down your version code and the version name. I'm pretty sure you're going to understand what that is. Version name is 1.0, version code is 1. If you do an update of it, go version code 2, or if you're just updating the code slightly, go, version code 1, version name 1.1. All right, with that, there's only one more thing to check out here quick, and then we'll wrap this video up, and I'll get started on the next one where we actually build an app. Now, all your stuff up here in the blocks editor is pretty much the same, and that's why I just clicked is right here in the blocks editor. We got a backpack where you can drag things into it, and it copies them and stores them in there so you can duplicate them later. And then you can drag things off of here and put it in a trash can. Now I know I have nothing on here. This will make more sense when we get into the next app. I will demonstrate while we're building one on how to use these further. Otherwise, over here is where we get our blocks for putting together how the app actually runs. That first screen, the designer, is just how the app is laid out. This is where we actually set up what happens, like when you push a button. If you use a slider, if incoming data comes in, this is how we set the app up to do the function that we want it to do. These ones all up here are always there, and these are your main controls. But then, like, I put that button in. Now, once we have a button in, then you can go, oh, when button 1 is clicked, you drag that in, and then you can put your if statement or just have it like play a sound or whatever. And we'll be getting into this a lot more in the next episode, which actually I think the next episode we're going to do buttons and adding sound to them to play a sound when the button is clicked, and we'll make like something for like Halloween or with monster sound effects or something of that nature. So that's pretty much about it. I think we've ran through everything. I know I went through a little quick. I just wanted to do this first video, just a general getting started quick run through, just basics on how everything is set up. Like I said, the next video we are going to build an app, and we will be doing a sound effects app. Now I'm going to be doing like monster sounds, screams, werewolf howls, stuff like that. But you could do this with anything. You could have buttons to make different cat meows, or you could do a Christmas theme one, have it play jingle bells when you click one button, or click another one and have ho ho ho. It's going to all be up to you how you want to set it up. I'm just going to show you how to go put the buttons in, align them, and then set it up so when you push it, it plays the sound that you want that particular button to play. All right. I think we're going to wrap this up. I think this video went on a bit longer than I wanted, but I hope you understood all this information. Please make sure you subscribe, because you're going to want to check out the next episodes, and I'm going to try to pump out a couple of these a week. So if you're trying to learn this, you're not learning a little bit and having to wait a month to learn some more. So make sure to subscribe. So with that, I would like to thank you for joining us here at the Z Hut today. I hope you have a great day.